talk about this, but
We
apparently
can
we have to.
restart. Just
Yeah,
we
it's
kind of
not.
went in that direction.
Yeah, it's not about the restart. Nothing is restarted. We can just cut it. The point is, I think we should. I tell me what's your mindset like? What do you feel? Do you visualize before you go to the gym? Do you visualize before you go to kickboxing training, MMA? I mean,
So MMA, no. At the gym, generally. However, it's impossible to fully predict how you're going to be and what you're going to do in the gym because, like, you can feel like you have a good mind muscle connection, or you can feel like you have a bad mind muscle connection at the moment. Then you go to the gym and it changes, or like, sometimes you're just weak. But yeah, generally, I know like I'm going to do back and biceps and legs, and then I do it. But sometimes I do it and then I want to do more, or I start doing it and I'm like, I'm just not feeling it today, or I have a little injury and I decide, I'm going to play it safe, stop, come back tomorrow, go hard, like just get some blood flow today. Um, you could say it's laziness not to work out hard each time, but I completely would disagree and say that it's incredibly important and smart to be in touch with your body.
well, about that, I want to just say that I know many people who start lifting and they lift for a while, and I also know a lot of people who stop lifting. So my way of being sure that I will not stop working out is if I got addicted to it. And as every addict, you can't skip a dose. So
I'm
I
addicted to
had
what
to
I do.
I had to go to the gym every time, and I wanted to convince myself that if I didn't go even one time, that I was a pussy. And if I didn't work out hard every time, I was a pussy. So the logic behind this thinking is not towards all kinds of people. It's towards the kinds of people who can lose their way and stop working out.
I definitely understand and know the value of your way. And it's similar to how I was when I was younger, not entirely because I didn't need to convince myself that I needed to work out. I just loved working out. But I had a macho man mentality of I'm going to push through anything. Pain doesn't matter. Ignore the pain. Just push hard as I possibly can. Like I especially remember when I would do presses or if I would do machine flies, like I would think of different scenarios where if I don't finish it, somebody's going to kill me and I need to kill them before they kill me.
Yeah, like smashing someone's head with two rocks, I guess.
Or
But
trying to like come to choke them.
by the way, I saw in a recent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, one guy was standing on the other guy on top like this. He was choking him, like you see Arnold Schwarzenegger being choked by some bad guy in a movie, standing over and just like, and the guy just passed out. I mean, how weak you gotta be so you pass out from this? I mean, I'm sorry, but you need to do neck exercises in this situation. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'd probably need to do some because my neck isn't that big. I bought one of those head harnesses before I came here, but I ended up returning it because it just was really awkward. And like when you would move your head, then the chain would move along. Like there was the loop that went, and the chain goes through the loop. And then as you move it, the chain, like it goes along each link of the chain. So it's like, and I just found that annoying and it like twisted on. Someday I'm going to buy one of those really good, expensive ones that has a like a rail system so that the cable can actually slide along the rail system.
Okay.
How do you
I
train neck?
remember before I was doing neck with I just take a towel, put it through a plate, I bite on it, and I just standing. I'm just doing extensions with my neck. And I think it also makes your jaw muscle stronger, which actually helps if you get punched in the face. So
Good
that's a very
idea.
savage and good way.
I'm gonna actually I started already simply laying down and raising my head up because in MMA, it was because in general, my posture is to have my head kind of pointed up. But in MMA, you want your head kind of pointed down so that your chin is tucked down.
Yep.
So I want to strengthen the front of my neck, whereas a lot of neck exercises, you're strengthening the back of it.
Yeah. I'm doing two types. I'm doing the ones that you go to the side, to the front, and to the back. So those are my. I also do twisting. When you put an elastic band like this and you twist to one side, there is a resistance
Yeah,
to the twistings. You do it 100 on the one side, 100 on the other side. Even with the point is that you don't need much weight to make your neck bigger. You need just the amount of weight that makes you pumped because you don't want to try funny stuff with your neck.
that's
Like,
what I was about to
no,
say. Like, you don't want to risk hurting your neck.
curling with I was doing before like neck extensions, like I said, with the jaw muscle extension with like 50, 55 kilos. Just I it doesn't sound intelligent, I know, but maybe I wasn't that intelligent.
Hey, so long as you survived it, that's all that matters.
I think it helped me because people there at the kickboxing gym that I was training in were kind of too harsh, like too. They didn't like. There were people who were saving you, and there were people who just didn't care.
Yeah, actually, at my MMA place, every guy that I've like talked to outside of practice has been injured and saw other people get injured, and they've
Well,
both complained to me.
just stop talking to them, and they will stop getting injured, bro. Like,
Yeah, I
is
guess
that?
so.
Yeah, it's not the trainer. It must be you. Yeah, your conversations are injuring them, triggering them. So,
But
yeah,
what we were just talking about, I think, touches on a very important aspect of, well, one of many mental components, mental facets of the overall fitness mindset, which is survivability. Because would you agree that your goal is always to make your survivability as high as possible so that somebody can't kill you?
yeah. I guess that's why I'm also keeping a fair amount of body fat. I'm not very shredded because you don't know if you have to fast for 2 weeks straight. Would be
Yep.
would come in hand.
My first bulk ever, I was 16 years old in high school. And at the time, people thought I was paranoid. I think I was just ahead of the time and uh, didn't realize it was going to take a bit longer before the United States got really bad. But I was really worried that things were going to be very bad very soon. So I actually started purposely putting on body fat because I thought, if there's an emergency and I'm really skinny, I'm going to be one of the first to go.
Wow, that's a real definition of scarcity.
But what's funny is I, people I've talked to over the years come to realize, whoa, all this stuff you were saying about you got to be prepared for things, like it's actually all starting to come true, sadly.
Yeah, which is even worse because when the thing that you thought is going to happen is start happening, it's different. It's you start thinking like you're in a movie or something, and then you're not. You gotta do what you gotta do, which sometimes is beneficial because the mindset of people. First of all, there are people who crumble under pressure, and there are people who get stronger under pressure. So if you're the type of person that gets stronger under pressure, you are most likely going to benefit from a crisis situation because you will actually get better as a human. I mean, you will get better in everything. You will appreciate what you had before even more.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that, like, you have, say you have a nice life right now, that could all change tomorrow. It could change next week, next month, next year, 10 years from now. So you really, like, every night you lay down in your comfortable bed, you should enjoy it and be like, thank you, God, that I have a nice soft bed underneath me and that I have this food and this building around me. People
Yeah.
take it all for granted.
Even just a strict diet can remind you how tasty fruits can be. Like if you haven't eaten sugar for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, like any sugar, when you eat lemons, you'll feel them sweet. I did it before. When I was too much like crazy sometimes on my dad's. Let's say if you eat only meat and only vegetables, and the vegetables with the low amount of sugar in them.
How I've been eating lately.
Okay, well, that's nice. Continue like this. I hope your willpower lasts more than mine.
I decided to stop.
Okay, so what are you adding then?
Well, I stopped it yesterday and I added in, well, to be completely honest, I started by adding in 3 Sprites and vodkas because I also haven't had alcohol in over a month. And I was just worn out, like, just all the dieting, the cardio, the lifting weights, the lack of sleep just built up and I wanted to relax. But after those alcoholic drinks, I had a granola, popcorn, um, peanut M&Ms. But today I went to the healthy carbs. I had oatmeal and potatoes.
Okay,
Just one
I
day of
don't, I don't,
unhealthiness.
I don't think that popcorn is that bad. It has like
No.
9 grams of fiber per 100 grams. That's a lot for a carb.
And a
You
big
know
bowl of
that the
popcorn is
fiber.
140 calories.
Wait a minute. 100 gram of popcorn is 365.
Well, I guess my bags are about 40 grams.
Must be something around there, 35, 40 grams, because I'm just calculating it because of what it's written on the package.
All I know is my
Oh,
popcorn says 140 calories, but it's really weird. Here, all the food, well, at least all the meat that I buy, it says it has like half of the nutrition value that it has everywhere else in the world. So I'll buy 600 grams of turkey, and it says that it has like 70 grams of protein. But if you Google that, it says it has like 150 grams of protein. 100, I don't remember exactly how many.
I wouldn't say that that is true, but about the micronutrients, it may be true because the soil has to be replenished in order for, everything you grow on it to have the minerals in it.
I don't know what's going on if somehow they, like, oftentimes they do it per 100 grams here, but it's clearly not per 100 grams of turkey, or else it'd be way less. So I don't know. It's weird.
Okay, well, when we're talking about mindset in training, we need to understand that the ultimate, like the people who have problems with starting to work out, very much benefit from getting maniacal in the beginning when they get hooked on, like, you know typically how people have relationships, with the wife, with the husband. They just first they fall in love. There is a moment of very big intensity, and then after time it wears off, but something else takes its place. It's the
Habit.
habits and the thing that you know what they like, what they don't like, so you know how to manage everything better, even though the same spark is not there, just like in training. So I'm a big believer that the beginning should be aggressive,
On
even though
that,
that's not the best strategy for health.
what you said is actually exactly how I'm coaching somebody right now who uh, we decided that, and this was not medical advice on my part, it was his decision based on available information that it would be best for him to take anabolic steroids and just hit the gym like crazy. And although, yeah, it's not the healthiest thing to do, it got him in the gym, got him working out. He's working out almost every day. He's building the habits, building the mind muscle connection, getting the movements down. I mean, that's part of the mind muscle connection. But I do believe that even after he discontinues the steroids, he will make more progress. So, say he's on steroids for 3 months. I think the next 3 months, he'll make just as much progress because he'll have the habits down, he'll have his eating in check, his sleep in check, his routine in check, he'll have the mind muscle connection. Perhaps that first 3 months, no, but a year later, for sure, in that same amount of time, I think he'll put on more muscle than the 3 months on steroids.
I don't think that 3 months on steroids can make you really huge if you
No,
weren't already.
but it did get him in the gym and building these habits and got him crazy about working out.
I need to mention something here. There is this doctor, Andrew Huberman. Uh, he explained that testosterone makes effort feel good, which basically means that the people who take testosterone may have higher willpower with training than people who don't, which kind of makes the question of, are people who are taking testosterone on a regular basis going because their testosterone tells them or because they want to?
Well, the thing with this person that I was just talking about is he also realizes that it's not the healthiest thing to be taking these drugs. So if he's gonna take them, he's gonna make sure he goes to the gym. Then you add that to what you just mentioned, and you've got a recipe for being in the gym and building that foundation and habits.
My observations is that people who think like this stop training at some point, then continue again, and then stop training, and then they continue again, and slowly the thrill of them taking steroids and training is wearing off. I just observe it in people who I'm training right now, and unfortunately, you can't make everyone super crazy training guy or a girl or anything else if there is just like that. So not everyone is going to be constantly hooked on training. There are going to be people who just don't train sometimes.
Yep, and this person is exactly like you described. And this is kind of just a last effort for him to try to change his life because I've known him for a long time and gotten him in the gym many times, but he's never stayed in the gym. But I think there's a much higher chance now because the overall life situation is gearing him more towards self-improvement, and he does seem to want to actually build habits. Whereas before, I don't think he understood the importance of habits. But like I said, he's been in the gym many times before, never stayed in the gym. And like you said, the thrill of taking steroids wears off. So only time will tell, but all you can do is try.
You know, I like quoting one guy, Dan Pena.
I've never
He
heard of
he
him.
said once he said once that People think that love will save the world, but love is already here. So love didn't get the job done. It's not love. I think the most universal force in this universe is fear, which is maybe a bit harsh for people to hear, but that's my opinion because I have found never anything else more motivating than fear. The
Motivated me a lot as
self-preservation,
well.
excuse me,
It's motivated me a lot as well.
it's like Cus D'Amato is a very famous trainer of boxers, of champions. He had two or three world champions that he trained and that he made like personally. That didn't mean that doesn't mean that he didn't train other world champions. But he was the trainer of Mike Tyson, and we all know who Mike Tyson is. And Cus D'Amato was explaining that fear is like fire. If you control it, you can just destroy your opposition or achieve whatever you want. But if you let it go, if you lose it, you will just burn the whole house down.
I think that ties in really well to a quote that Jocko Willink, the Navy SEAL, said that discipline equals freedom. Because if you are afraid of not being free, you will work hard so that you can be free. What I mean by that is you will, for example, you'll work hard to earn money so that you can be free and live the life you want to live versus not working hard. You have to settle for some really low down job that doesn't pay much. Now you don't have the freedom to live where you want to live, to eat what you want to eat. And I've thought like that for a lot of my life, where when I'm studying for school, I think, if I don't pass this class and I don't graduate from my university, I'm gonna have to like live with my parents forever. I mean, they're great people, but I don't want to live with my parents forever. And I'm gonna just work at like a pet store or something, making no money and never able to live on my own and have my own life. And that's not what I want. I want the freedom to have my own life. So I need to graduate school, graduate medical school so I can work as a doctor, which is the job I want. So there's that freedom as well, the freedom to do what you want to do for work. For me, that's to work as a doctor. And you can only have that through discipline, which for me, and I think many people, is generated by the fear of the alternative.
There is always there is already one guy whose name is the anabolic doctor. So I guess you have to be the natural anabolic doctor.
I'll find a good name. And also, I think it's important to note, like, people often look at people that are successful and they go, oh, they have it so easy. No, it's not easy to be successful. Being, let's just say, a loser and being successful are both hard. Being successful is hard because you're constantly working to give yourself that good life. Being a loser is hard because, well, you suffer the consequences of taking it easy. So you have to pick what you want. For me, the
Yeah,
fear of not having the freedom of choice pushes me to work hard and be successful rather than and suffer from hard work rather than suffer from lack of freedom.
I think there is a there is a point in life where people have to just build a capital of money and then use it so their money can work for them. But most of the people just continue the first cycle and they never finish it.
Yep.
But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about training mentality. And it's very, I mentioned fear because I think fear is actually the best motivator of all. Also, C.T. Fletcher said that the most motivating thing someone told him was that he couldn't do something.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
also
point.
think I think that the negative emotions that everyone has, I mean, no matter how spiritually evolved anyone is, they always have negative emotions sometimes.
Well, if there's
I
nothing to
think people,
overcome, why would you push?
yeah, yeah, that's that's right. My point is that people should use the negative emotions in their workout, not just wasting them away. The Rage Against the Machine have a whole album that is called Anger is a Gift.
I actually, when I was in high school, I would study after school until I had so much stress and negative feelings built up that I would march off to the gym and just push as hard as I could.
Maybe because earlier in our lives we were made like no one actually wanted to go to school. I mean, it's not like you want to just go to some place that you don't your my parents asked me, but it's not asking like you want to go, like do you actually want to go. It's asking like, yeah, tell us, because we'll be very disappointed if you don't want to go. So it wasn't my choice to go to school, and I think if I had a choice, a real choice, because they would have to make me of sometime, I would not go to school.
I actually like learning, but there's a difference between learning and school.
That's an important thing, because I never said I didn't want to learn. I just
Yeah,
don't want to learn in a prison setting, just like the
exactly.
school is.
That's exactly what
Well,
I was thinking, actually, because school and prison are some of the only places where you're forced to be somewhere, forced to be with other people, and you all got to be together and make it all work out and
they are
go
even
through it.
built the same way.
They even put gates around them, but for schools, I know it's supposedly to keep bad people from coming in rather than kids from going out, but who knows?
Yeah, of course. I mean, my school even had a lot of my schools even had like bars outside of the windows. Do you realize that? Like
Yeah,
they had bars, you know? It's and I don't know
hilarious.
why exactly, but doesn't seem very logical to me.
Yeah,
I
they don't want
would,
kids sneaking in and out.
yeah, out through the window. I mean, how bad school got has to be in order for the children to run away.
Yeah, I think education systems, I mean, most things need drastic changes. Education system, medical system, everything. But getting back to the working out part and the fear, personally, although it's not, it's certainly fear, but it's not quite fear because I'm acting on it to minimize. I mean, to me, fear is when there's a danger that you are not prepared for and you don't have time to prepare for. By preparing, I can minimize my fear and stress and worry. So I like to make myself as prepared as possible for any situation, um, like through working out, by becoming stronger, heavier, better endurance. I never want to walk down the street and be worried that someone could attack and kill me, for example. I want to make sure I'm going to be stronger and tougher than them.
For me, fear is constantly present, no matter. I mean, it's not the same when I was lighter. It's just weaker. The fear is less than before, but it's never completely going away, and I don't think it should.
No,
I
there's
think that
always threats.
it should be controlled.
And
Like
that's another thing
it,
is a lot of people don't realize that the world's a very dangerous place. If you grew up in a safe civilized first world country, perhaps you were never exposed to much danger. But rest assured that if you are weak, you are in danger in life.
Not only because of what eventually can happen to him, but or her, but because they are going to be the targets.
Yep, my mom used to be worried that people would attack me when I'm just walking around the city. And I'd always tell her, why are they going to attack me if there's a skinny little girl over there or a skinny guy or whatever? They're not going to pick the guy walking around in a tank top with big muscles.
Yeah, at least I mean it wouldn't be the best target, I guess.
I mean, you still obviously can get attacked. I know someone that's really big who's been attacked, but if someone has to pick easy target, harder target, probably going to go for
Yeah.
the easier one.
Even if you just want to stab the guy, I mean, would it be easier to stab through someone who has 10 centimeters thicker abdominal wall? No, of course not.
Oh,
So,
did you say stop or stock?
um, to stab,
Oh, stab.
yeah. Even if someone wants to stab you, they wouldn't choose a person who has 10 centimeters thicker abdominal wall.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, depends on many things. But the mindset behind the fear is that it gets you started and it keeps you on track. But there is also something else, the other side of things that we need actually to see, because I have caused myself injuries because of this, because I wanted to push too hard. So if you're injured, you obviously can't work out.
Yep, that's why I mentioned that when I go to the gym, I may have a plan, but then I get in there and something doesn't feel quite right. So I just, nope, not going to do it today.
It's important to use your instincts also. It's obvious sometimes if something is going to happen, it's going to happen. You feel it coming. And sometimes people don't actually feel it coming, which is, you know, the worst. But that's life.
Yep.
So what I wanted to say about the other side, you have it one place here, fear, which gives you motivation, which makes you push harder. The other place you have it here, people that use RPE or rate of preserved exertion, and they try to stay a bit more recovered because, like they're soft fuckers or they're some of the actual people who shouldn't push that hard that often with that much weight. So we have this is the whole thing. You should distinguish the person who is just starting and they are thinking that they're training too hard from the person that actually trained for 20 and more years, like a power lifter, and they know that they could cause injuries doing Romanian deadlift with 320 kilos. So they try to do less exertion so they can continue being strong without tearing their hamstrings off.
I'm not deadlifting like 300 kilos. Like, not that I mean, I couldn't probably, although I don't know because I haven't tried. But I'm actually in this situation in the gym where now most of the time when I go, I'm just taking it kind of easy. Like, I still push, but I don't use the heaviest weights anymore. And it's funny, like even a few days ago, I was in the gym just doing 10-kilo lat raises, and some like probably like 18-year-old boy who was pretty skinny is like, I saw him looking at me, and then he goes and picks up like 15-kilo ones and starts doing it. Like, I've actually seen stuff like this happen a few times where, like, because like you can't tell on camera too well, but I'm big enough that when I'm in the gym, I'm usually the biggest guy in the gym. Like, that's the truth. Like, even though I'm not huge, and people when they see me lifting light weights, I don't know, they just think it's like something's not right. Like, oh, I'm stronger than him. See, I'm doing more. But yeah, I just don't want to get injured, and I'm already strong. So I'm just going to take it nice and slow.
Yeah. So I can tell you many reasons why people injure themselves without even pushing that much. I know many situations where people just do the same exercises for too long, and that makes the same muscle fibers, it destroys the same muscle fibers. So
More importantly, it
accumulating,
destroys the tendons and ligaments
yeah, yeah.
because the muscles,
I
they recover.
I, I guess I never see someone's pec tear in the middle of the chest, so it must be the tendon.
Yeah. It's like I'm not doing
So
any sort of bench press right now, just flies, because all the stuff in this upper shoulder area is just too worn down. And whereas the muscle tissue has recovered and it recovers after each workout, the tendons and ligaments, I don't know about the ligaments, but I can certainly tell that my tendons, they just need a lot of time to fully recover before I start breaking them down again.
the way you recover tissue is with elastic band work,
I've
a
done that in
high
the
rep,
past.
high rep band anything like curls, like triceps extensions for the elbows, for of course flies for the chest. It's just whatever you feel in pain, you have to do for it, like let's say 2 times a day, 300 reps with very light elastic band that will not destroy your muscles, but will just put enough blood in the tendons and muscles to make them recover faster.
Yep, because tendons and ligaments get hardly any blood flow. So you got to do whatever you can to stimulate the blood flow. And then ideally, you would even increase the amount of growth factors and hormones in that blood.
Yeah, which is beneficial. And yeah,
And I think
basically, when you have been pushing, like, how many people do you think from 100%, what percentage are the people who actually have to have it lighter than they're doing it?
few percent, or maybe I'm overestimating, but I do think there are people, typically younger people, that push too hard because they're young, feeling invincible, and you also don't feel damage until it gets to a certain point. So it may take 4, 5, 6 years of doing that damage before you realize, man, I've really damaged my body.
Yeah. So I would suggest that this percent is around two, maybe 2 to 3% of the people, I think, from all people are overtraining, and they have to not only overtraining, but they're training with such an amount that they cannot keep up for a long time. I think they're like 2 3%, because like let's say, let's calculate it easier. How many people in your gym are crazy about training?
Currently, I'd say like there's guys that are in good shape but crazy about training and really pushing hard. I'd say zero, but they might look at me and not realize that I'm actually pushing hard. I'm just really injury prone. So I don't know, maybe they are pushing really hard for themselves, but it appears to be zero.
Well, that makes a very small percent out of 100, I guess.
Whereas a different gym, let's say the one I went to in the summer, I would say that 3 people pushed really hard. Or actually, no, 5.
So yeah, if the gym has 500 clients, that could be 1%.
Yeah, that gym just happened to have a lot of actual competitive power lifters and at least one competitive bodybuilder.
Okay, so yeah, I see. It's nice. I like power gyms. I have one like this in the city. It's called Hercules. I know a bit corny, but I like
Nice
it
name.
anyway. Yeah, it's legit for what they're doing. There are strong men there, powerlifters, hardcore bodybuilders.
Do you
Like
have to wear your
you just
shirt?
no, they don't like the people inside are really friendly, like really free. They don't make other restrictions than just try to think about this gym like you think about your own home. Like
Of course.
don't throw garbage in it, don't like maybe buy toilet paper sometimes or stuff like that. It's just normal things that people aren't actually very accustomed to doing in a commercial gym.
Actually, even in commercial gyms, like oh, big echo from, did you hear that?
No?
Okay, well, when I spoke, I heard it come back out of my speaker. The only thing that I do not do in commercial gyms, and actually I don't do it in any gym, like if I was really sweaty, I'd probably wipe down the thing, but that's the only thing that I'm guilty of is not like putting a towel down or wiping the bench after I use it, but I always put the weights back. I always put the equipment back. I'm always careful with the stuff. I respect it. Because I like the gym. I appreciate that we have gyms that we can go to. But I think it would be really cool to go to a gym where you don't have to wear a shirt and where you're around other very serious athletes versus just average people that aren't really in shape, not really pushing hard.
Yeah, if you're into feeling like the weakest guy in the gym,
Yeah, that's
you
the only
will.
thing.
Yeah, you should really think about going to a power gym. And maybe not for your whole life. You can just go at periods like 2 3 months, just get a smell of what real dedication is, and then go back with your girly ways. Or
And what you said about being the weakest guy, that it can actually impact you negatively. Like if I'm at the gym, like most gyms, I'm the biggest, strongest guy, and it makes you feel good. I'm not gonna lie. Whereas over the summer, when I went to this other gym, which actually was a commercial gym, it just happens to be that there were a lot of competitive power lifters and at least one competitive bodybuilder. On the days when they were in the gym, I was not the strongest, and especially because there were two guys that I'm pretty sure have used. I mean, I'm sure they've all used a lot of steroids, but there were two guys that were really extra big. So I felt pretty small there. But it feels good to be the strongest, but it's good for motivation to be around people bigger and stronger than you.
which is coming back again to fear versus just enjoying yourself in the gym or
Yeah.
just being easier on yourself. They both have place and time to be applied.
And I do think, and I probably we should start talking about it, that there's a other side to the fitness mindset, which is not so much a fear or survival based side, but just a purely self improvement side, which is just wanting to be better, wanting to look better, wanting to perform better, just wanting to better yourself.
Yeah, but how many people actually are the lion and how many people are being the gazelle that is being chased by the lion?
Can you expand on that?
How many people feel the need to do something before something bad happens? And how many people do something only after something bad happens?
Of course, most people only do it after something bad happens, but I do think
So the
there's a
self
side of fitness that's purely disconnected from that survival aspect.
Yeah, I'm just saying that until people, some many people, until they start looking really like shit, they don't do a diet. They don't actually start improving. And there are people who do it before. They're just thought like this. They had the right examples around. Their father worked out. He wasn't a beer gut guy that was just, you know, with the mentality of I have to go come after work, drink few beers and just watch the TV.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. At first, I thought you were talking about survival because you said lion and gazelle, but certainly, yes, this applies to the non-survival aspect as well. Just some people are more motivated to be in a good state, whereas other people just don't care until they get to rock bottom generally.
Yeah, until they get sick of what they how they look like, how people refer to them and stuff like that.
It's too bad that they have to get to that point first, or that perhaps they never get sick enough. Because you certainly live a much better life when you're in good shape, healthy, feeling good, performing well.
I think here we have to I have to mention something very important because many people actually lift weights for the wrong reasons. Many people start going to the gym only thinking about how are they going to look and not what the gym is going to give them, which is
And girls.
straight, huh? And
And
girls, yeah,
how they're going
and
to look for girls.
yeah. But for me, the main reason I'm going to the gym is because it's my foundation. Whatever happens in the gym is teaching you about everything else in life. How you to manage a business, how to manage yourself, how to if you can't motivate yourself to go to the gym, how are you going to motivate your son to go to the gym? So it's teaching you about business, about relationships, because you can't cheat on the gym because you'll stop growing. So it's cheating that you can't cheat on your spouse.
And nobody can do it for you.
Yes, no one else can do it for you. You gotta do it yourself. It's basically everything. Gym is everything. And you need this cold approach, like this cold hearted approach, because the gym will always tell you if you're doing what you have to do. There are very few people, of course, who are just so genetically ungifted that they, no matter how much they work out, they don't get big. But there is still hope for many of them because I know that many of them are actually bullshitting themselves. They're bitching about it and they're not taking things into their own hands.
And they're not developing the mind muscle connection. I truly believe that's a very big thing. That someone can have perfectly fine genetics, but they don't put the time and necessary effort in to build that mind muscle connection, to connect with their body and learn how to use their body. Because there's a big difference between learning, okay, for shoulders, I need to go like this, for chest, I need to go like this, for biceps, I need to go like this, and then how you actually engage your individual body to do it. Like, you may move your arm what seems to be the same way to do a curl 10 years ago and today, but I think you know that your curl 10 years ago was very different from your curl today, even though it's the same movement. Do you agree
Yes,
that you get much different muscle activation now?
I can definitely say that because it's logical. When you grow muscle, you're growing also its nervous tissue. You're not just you're growing nerves in it. So you are basically getting more feeling, more receptors. It's obvious that you will have better mind muscle connection. I
Also,
think that people can build muscle also with junk volume. It's because it's inevitable. You cannot go through like 20 tons of chest training and not develop any chest. Would it be more beneficial? Maybe not, but it would still work. And I've been building muscles with volume training and with time under tension and with mind to muscle connection training. I'm just sometimes I like emphasizing on different things.
yeah, I do the same, of course. And then the one other one I would add into there is just raw stretching force. Like, for example, you have like a barbell to do barbell rows, and when it's just really heavy, just like really pulling the muscle fibers apart, just that sheer pulling action.
I think that I feel it much better the stretch on traps exercises and also on flies, on cable flies, on dumbbell flies. I just feel the stretch much better than with a roll.
Well, this isn't the same as a stretch. It's like sheer tension. I guess you could just
Ah,
say it's going really heavy, but it's like this certain kind of muscle engagement you get sometimes when you go really heavy, where it's just like you're letting the muscle get like pulled apart while it's contracted. It's hard to explain, but you you went, do you know that feeling?
I think I do, but right now I don't quite recall it.
Because for me, like if I get a good stretch from a fly, it's completely different than if I put like a really heavy load on my biceps and just let it like stretch, but it's a different kind of stretch. It's
Okay.
a it's not a stretch from stretching the full range of motion. It's a just sheer force being applied to the muscle.
Well, that has more to do with mind to muscle connection, of course.
And just a lot of weight.
Yeah. Some type of tension you can't build just with low weight isolation exercise. You gotta use high weight sometimes. That's absolutely true.
Yep.
You know what? I think we should stop for now to with this video, and instead of doing like 2 hours every time, maybe we should just focus on trying to do it every second, every third day, something more.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, so we can keep it right in
And I'm
in this
also
place.
kind of burnt out tonight, so I know I wasn't the most focused on the video.
No, it's just obvious it's not working out that good right now. I had sometimes good moments where I was making analogies, but they're going to be cut out. We can't post the whole thing.
And we could always just try again tomorrow.
Yes, of course we can.
So I'll
Maybe we
just
should do it a bit earlier in the day.